Hey, how you doing? My name is Crystal Stewart, and this is my final video reflection for spring 2023 for Psychology of Women. So I wanted to touch on what you stated was what would be one of my most interesting topics or takeaways from the class. Well, to me, I feel like gender equality, because what I learned was, or what I gathered was, gender equality is not something that only affects women. It's not just a women's thing. Gender is affected by everybody: men, women, transgender, because equality is something that is most important, because that is what we identify as. Now, because everybody is affected by it, you also have those stereotypes and media stereotypes and how we're viewed in society. Some people, and it just depends on the culture, that may think that, hey, this is okay or this may not be okay. But in actuality, everything should be straightforward and across the board. Everything should be equal. And that's my opinion. Also, a lot of the times that I did find in the reading that the number one thing that is affected by gender equality is the lack of resources or the lack of education. A lot of things or prejudice that is involved with gender is because a person is just not educated. It's a lot of stereotypes in regards to genders or bis or homosexual or trans and things like that. And so, that's where it came up to me that I thought, hey, it shouldn't be allowed to have homosexual in the military. Well, why not? If everybody's doing the same job, then it should be accepted. Also, I wanted to take a look at the three of some concepts that I deemed relevant. I thought that gender or self conception of yourself basically was something that I thought was pretty important, because the self concept theory basically lets you know that this is how a person identifies themselves, or their concept of how they perceive themselves. I found that to be most interesting, and just in regards to my everyday life and how I'm affected, not me personally, but how people are affected in the workplace. Because if a person identifies one way and they want to be perceived as one way, the self-concept theory is that they should be able to be perceived how they identify themselves. So if someone wanted to use the men's restroom and they are technically their co-gender, their transgender that they was born with is a female, well, who is the workplace to say that they cannot? I think personally that it should be more of those gender equal or neutral facilities. So we are faced with that every day. Luckily for me, I am working from home. So the other concept that I did deem interesting to me was the concept of adolescence, because I have three little ones, 11, 13, and 15. And as they grow into age and how they perceive themselves and how they learn it at that particular time, and that in this area of life, I thought was very interesting, that certain things at that age level really stands out. So it was a lot of interesting things and takeaways that I got from the class. A lot of stuff, and me personally think that the concept of just gender equality is something that just needs to be taught a little bit more often, because we need this class. It's not just women's psychology or psychology of women, but I feel like that it opened my eyes and educated me on that this is a gender thing. This is it's a more broad topic that needed to be touched basis on, that I appreciate. And I appreciate the takeaway that I got from it. So that's my thoughts in regards to it. It was most helpful, very informative. It really shed some light on some things that I didn't originally know. And I appreciate that. Thank you.